If you want to become an IT professional someday, then you should have a good understanding of computer networks. Because at the end of the day, whatever you end up doing in IT, be it cybersecurity, sysadmin, cloud computing, or the like, everything you're interacting with will eventually boil down to your understanding of computer networks. This applies especially when you want to take the CCNA someday and become a network engineer or a network admin. Then not only should you have a solid understanding of computer networks, but also be able to design, build, configure, and troubleshoot them. So let's start by answering this question on the screen. What is a network? Well, the only way that I can really answer that is by building our very first network. So let's start by doing just that. Let's open Packet Tracer. And if you're unfamiliar with what Packet Tracer is, it's a free program provided by Cisco where you can design and build your own networks and really just improve your networking skills in general. So without further ado, let's build our very first network. Let's go to the bottom left, click Network Devices, and add what's called a switch. And then let's go to End Devices, and then let's just add, let's say, 4 devices. Let's say 2 desktops, 1 laptop, and 1 printer. And then let's cable them together. So we're going to use a copper straight through cable and cable our computers to the switch. So for now, it doesn't matter to what switch port you're cabling into, but when you're designing networks someday, then your port planning matters. So you can just plug it into a random switch port. You should have a plan. So now that you have built your very first network, let's go over through what we did here. So we have a switch, and so what a switch does is that it connects your devices together and create a network. So let's build another network that more or less looks like the same. Let's add another switch to the right of your topology or your logical mapping of a network, and then add 5 devices. So it can be in any form. So for me, I will add 2 desktop computers, 2 laptops, and I don't know, 1 server. So what a server does is that it really provides certain services to your devices or clients, so to speak. And then we're going to cable these together. So again, it does not matter for now to what switch port you're cabling it into, but in the future, you should have a plan, a switch port plan. So for example, your certain device will be assigned a certain switch port. So that's really what port planning is. You are assigning a switch port to a device. So now that you have built 2 networks or 2 local area networks, we want them to talk to one another or communicate to one another. And so the only way that we can do that really is by adding what's called a router. So if you go to network devices again and click routers, and let's just choose the 4321 router. Okay, so your router should look something like a flat cylinder with 4 arrows. We want these 2 switches to be connected to the router. And so let's do that. Let's connect that to the router and this one to the router. And in theory, this shouldn't work yet because we have to do what's called router configuration and switch configuration and assign our devices to what's called IP addresses or a series of numbers tied to your device. But when we do all of that, then in theory, this network that we just built right here should work as intended. That being, this network should be able to talk to the other network and vice versa. So I can go on and exponentially expand this network by adding a gazillion more devices, switches, and routers, but what I'm doing at the end of the day is interconnecting all of my devices together. So that's what a network is. It's really just a system of interconnected devices or devices connected to one another. Let's say we want to provide internet access to one of our local area networks because our router port here only has 2 router ports, and so we have to delete one of our networks. So let's say we're going to delete this network. So how you can do that in Packet Tracer is by dragging your arrow, highlighting these 6 devices, and then press delete on your keyboard. And then we can simulate an internet connection by going to network devices, WAN emulation, and just add a cloud right next to the router. So this cloud should represent a wide area network, or a WAN, or more so, and the internet. So let's connect our router to the cloud, and then we should have already simulated a internet connection. So our 4 devices right here should already have internet connection. Now, last but not least, but very important, is that there are a lot of bad guys out there on the internet who want to steal your private information, such as your credit card information, your usernames, your passwords, etc., etc. Then we should have some way to protect your network. Your computer will normally have stored your personal information somewhere simply because it's convenient to store your personal information to your computer. So how we can protect that computer is by adding what's called a firewall. So if you go to network devices and go to security, then you should have 2 firewalls there. Let's just choose the first one and put it in the middle of your cloud and router. So what this firewall will do is to filter out any suspicious traffic, any traffic that it thinks is bad for our devices. So that includes internet traffic from hackers who want to steal your private information. So to summarize everything, we made 2 local area networks, we connected them through a router, we provided internet access to our local area network, and protected it with a firewall. So that is it, guys, for what a network is, and I hope you learned something.